What's up guys, Steven Spikes at the Spike Signal here, with another How to Write Metal coming at ya. Today we're finally going to be talking about the music theory and songwriting behind Speak by Godsmack off of their album 4. It's a very beat-driven song, so we're going to be spending a lot more time talking about rhythmic elements than we typically do, with a lot of emphasis on how their subtle use of variation keeps the song feeling fresh. All that's coming up right now on Spike Signal. If you want to follow along during the analysis, you can pull up the score on my Muse score page. You'll find the link to that in the description. The song is in G minor, meaning that the relative major is in B flat, though the song revolves quite consistently around the D minor chord, which in the key of G minor functions as the Phrygian mode. This gives the song a very intense and somewhat dark sound, beyond the typical minor sound thanks to the flat 2 from the Phrygian mode. This, coupled with the tempo of around 100, gives the song a sort of dark groove that's classic Godsmack. The score that I put together does make use of 1-bar repeat signs, as well as tremolo marks. The 1-bar repeat sign simply means that the exact same notes in the prior measure are to be played in the measure that contains the sign. And the tremolo marks mean, in this case, you're going to be playing in the space of an 8th note, 2 16th notes. In a case such as this, we're playing 3 16th notes in the space of a dotted 8th note. This is all extremely helpful for consolidating the score. Now let's get into the meat of this song and really start analyzing it. As stated before, most of this song revolves around the Phrygian mode and gives the song an extra dark quality. Outside of this melodic observation, there's actually more going on in the rhythm, so let's spend some time talking about that. In the first measure, we see that most of the on beats are not the accented notes. For example, beats 2 and 3 are palm muted, and on beat 4, there's actually a rest. This leaves many of the accented 3-note power chords falling on the end of each beat, or even the E's and A's. As this sort of offbeat rhythm is played throughout the entire intro, and other parts of the song as well, it gives you a very distinct feel from what you get when accented notes are located on the on beats. On the ending of halfway through the intro, as well as on the final measure of the intro, the C minor, or 4 chord of G minor, is held to give some tension as we transition to the next part of the song. Another thing that I wanted to point out was that, to my ears, there are some instances where palm muted D notes are used in certain measures, but not others. For instance, in measure 1, the end and A of the 4th beats have a rest, then a single palm muted D note respectively, whereas on measure 5, the end and A have 2 palm muted D notes. Of course, this is an insanely minor difference, but over the course of an entire song, these little variations in rhythm add up and make the song seem just a little bit more dynamic and ultimately less boring. It's very useful to implement strategies such as these when you're playing a nearly identical line multiple times. Now at this point, we've covered about everything we need from the intro, so let's go ahead and get into the verse and see what the guitar is doing there. Now the verse riff might seem like a carbon copy of the intro, but just like the interchange in palm mutes and rest we observed in the intro, we can actually see there's quite a bit of variation here as well. The main riff starts on the flat 6 of G minor, which is E major, which is played for a single 16th note and then descends a minor second to D minor, giving the riff that extremely Phrygian sound. The same descension is repeated near the end of the second beat and then reaches up to the flat 7 of G minor, or F major, before finally descending back down to D minor in a staccato type fashion. Please bear in mind that when I say major and minor, I'm talking about their power chord versions, as there's not technically a third in any of these chords. Just like in the intro, the chords, rhythms, and articulations are adjusted several times to keep it from getting stale. For example, on the first measure of the first verse, most of the chords are actually palm muted, and this is the only time in the song that happens. In another instance, best I can tell from the original track, there are some rests used in instances that had palm muted notes in a prior prior measure. Finally, sometimes on beats 3 and 4, the accented chords are different, like this comparison between measure 9 and measure 12. Once again, this variation gives your brain just enough new information to keep the song fresh without getting in the way of the vocals, and that'll about take care of what's going on in the verses. This is about as far as I'll go for now, but next time we'll be discussing the chorus and interlude to get some more insights on how to give cool grooves using subtle rhythmic techniques. If you got anything out of this, I would very much appreciate you liking and subscribing. Also, be sure to let me know what you thought of my analysis. Did I get anything wrong? Could anything be improved? I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you next time right here on Spike Signal. Thank you.